Welcome to the deep dive. I'm genuinely intrigued by the material we're exploring today. We're taking a deep dive into self-improvement, a topic that really touches everyone, I think, whether you've consciously started that journey or, maybe not. As always, our mission here is to distill your sources, the articles and research you provide, into the most impactful nuggets of knowledge and insight. Think of this as your shortcut to being truly well-informed, maybe finding some surprising facts, and hopefully keeping you hooked along the way.
And this particular deep dive is fascinating because, well, the insights you've provided give us this remarkably comprehensive framework. We'll be exploring what self-improvement truly entails, from its core meaning right through to practical application and, yeah, even some common pitfalls that can derail progress. It's really a journey from those foundational concepts to some incredibly actionable strategies you can start using, well, today.
Okay, great. Because there is so much talk about self-improvement these days, isn't there? It can feel a bit overwhelming, maybe even just like a buzzword. So let's unpack this. What do the sources highlight as the core, like the non-negotiable definition? What cuts through all that noise?
Yeah, what struck me in the material was this definition. Self-improvement isn't merely a buzzword, not at all. It's a conscious, deliberate evolution. It's about developing your knowledge, your habits, your mindset, behavior, and skills. And it emphasizes that even seemingly minor shifts in habit, when you sustain them, they create this disproportionately massive personal growth. It's almost like a personal compound interest that can accelerate happiness and help build strong relationships, maybe far beyond what you'd initially expect. It's truly a lifelong process.
That idea of it being a lifelong process, yeah, that really resonates. It implies it's less about reaching some final destination and more about constant refinement, right? And the sources don't seem to treat it as just one single thing, do they? They highlight it as a deeply holistic endeavor. I think they break it down into five crucial interconnected areas. Can you walk us through how those pieces fit together?
Absolutely. What's really clear from this material is that effective self-improvement touches five main pillars. And they are indeed like different instruments in an orchestra, each supporting the others. First, there's physical growth. Now, this isn't just about, hitting the gym. It covers your overall health and fitness, focusing on a balanced diet, consistent exercise, and crucially, adequate sleep. What's particularly interesting is how the sources show that even moderate physical activity, especially outdoors, was linked to something like a 25% increase in creative problem-solving ability. So that directly impacts your intellectual growth. It's not just healthy body, healthy mind. It's more like active body, more innovative mind.
Huh. So making your body a strong, active foundation actually unlocks other capacities. Interesting. What's the next critical dimension then?
Then we move to mental growth. This is all about cultivating positive thinking, mastering stress management techniques, and developing emotional intelligence. That last one is huge for understanding yourself and, of course, others. The insights here suggest that consistently practicing mindfulness and meditation doesn't just reduce stress, though it does that, but it can significantly enhance your decision-making clarity, basically by improving your ability to focus and manage those emotional responses.
Right. I think mental growth is often overlooked sometimes, maybe in favor of more tangible achievements, but it feels so fundamental to just overall well-being. And speaking of foundational, how about what we maybe typically think of first when we hear improvement?
Ah, that brings us neatly to intellectual growth. This area is all about continuously reading, gaining knowledge, sharpening your critical thinking and problem-solving skills, and very importantly, learning new skills throughout your life. It's about keeping your mind sharp and expanding your capabilities. There are even studies suggesting that learning a new language can literally rewire your brain, making you more adaptable in social and problem-solving situations.
Yeah, I can already see how these are building on each other. I mean, if your body is healthy and your mind is clearer, you're definitely better equipped to learn and process new information. What about how we interact with the world around us?
Exactly. That's where social growth comes in. This involves improving your communication skills, building truly meaningful relationships, not just connections, but meaningful ones. Also developing leadership qualities and practicing empathy and kindness. One fascinating insight from the sources is how enhanced communication, particularly active listening, can not only improve relationships, but also dramatically reduce everyday stress, just by minimizing misunderstandings and fostering a greater sense of connection.
Makes sense. And finally, the fifth area. This one sometimes gets less attention, maybe, but feels so vital.
Indeed, the fifth is spiritual growth. And this isn't necessarily about religion, though it can be for some. It's more about cultivating inner peace, practicing gratitude, maybe engaging in meditation, and living with a deep sense of purpose. The material highlighted that consistently practicing gratitude, for instance, has a direct, measurable impact on resilience. It actually equips you to bounce back faster from life's inevitable setbacks.
Okay, so we have these 5 distinct pillars: physical, mental, intellectual, social, spiritual. How do the sources explain their synergy? Like, is neglecting one really like pulling a thread that unravels the whole thing?
That's a brilliant analogy, actually. And it's precisely what the research suggests. If you neglect your physical health, for instance, your mental clarity will undoubtedly suffer. That makes intellectual growth or managing stress significantly harder. Similarly, a lack of emotional intelligence, that's going to create friction in your social relationships, which can then feed back into mental stress. They're not isolated silos, they're deeply interwoven. The key takeaway really is that progress in one area often has this positive ripple effect, reinforcing progress in others. It creates a virtuous cycle of improvement.
Say a virtuous cycle.
It's about creating an integrated, strong self.
That makes so much sense. It's like building a strong house. You need to shore up all the walls, right? Not just focus on one. Okay, so beyond these areas, the sources also outline some key principles that seem to underpin effective self-improvement. They provide the foundational ideas guiding the whole process. What are these sort of guiding stars?
Well, the material consistently highlights 5 core principles. The first one is self-awareness, truly knowing your strengths and, just as importantly, your weaknesses. You really can't effectively improve what you don't understand about yourself first. Second is consistency. This emphasizes that small daily habits matter far more than large sporadic efforts. You know, those big New Year's resolutions that fizzle out. The real magic happens in the persistent, almost mundane daily grind. That's what builds lasting change, much like that compound interest idea we mentioned earlier.
So it's less about grand, dramatic gestures and more about the quiet, persistent work that just accumulates over time.
Precisely. Third is discipline. Having control over your own mind and actions, making choices that align with your goals, especially when it's difficult. Fourth, a learning attitude. Always being open to new ideas, new knowledge, different perspectives. This isn't just about reading books, it's about humility and curiosity too. And finally, resilience. This is the essential ability to bounce back from failures and setbacks. Because let's face it, in any journey of improvement, you will encounter obstacles. The sources really underscore that how you respond to those setbacks is actually more important than trying to avoid them altogether.
That's so true. Resilience is absolutely key. Okay, so this is where the rubber meets the road, right? We've talked about what self-improvement is, the areas, the guiding principles. What stands out to you from the sources about how we actually apply these? They provide some truly concrete methods.
They do, and it's very practical, which is great. One of the most effective methods, highlighted repeatedly, is goal setting. Specifically, using SMART goals, making them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Right. SMART goals. Heard a lot about those.
Yeah, and the sources don't just recommend this. They kind of drill down into why SMART goals are so uniquely powerful beyond just providing direction. For instance, the measurable aspect isn't just about tracking progress, though that's important. It's about providing these immediate, tangible feedback loops. These loops can actually rewire our motivation, essentially hacking our dopamine system to crave progress.
Ah, interesting.
And surprisingly, the biggest trap, maybe in the achievable part, isn't always setting goals too high, but sometimes setting them so close to your current ability that they don't inspire enough stretch or growth.
That's a fantastic point. It's finding that sweet spot of challenge. Not too easy, not impossible. What else can we do? What other methods?
Another big one is establishing a consistent daily routine, particularly structured morning routines and just effective time management throughout the day. This isn't about rigid, joyless control, but more about minimizing decision fatigue. You know, all those little choices that drain your energy and maximizing your most productive hours. The material suggests that a well-designed morning routine can be a really powerful anchor, setting a positive tone for the entire day.
An anchor for the day. I like that.
Then there's journaling, not just for like diary entries, but specifically for self-reflection and also for creating gratitude lists, which, as we discussed, directly impacts spiritual growth and that crucial resilience. Of course, reading and learning are vital, using books, podcasts, online courses to continually expand your knowledge base. Networking is also key. Learning from mentors, friends, groups that can provide invaluable insights and support. The sources suggest even informal learning through conversation can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Learning from others.
And finally, mindfulness practices. Things like meditation, yoga, simple deep breathing exercises. They're excellent for mental and spiritual well-being, helping you stay grounded and present.
Okay, so a whole toolkit there. Now, after all this effort, after putting in the work and adopting these methods, what's the real payoff for you, the listener? What are the tangible benefits?
Oh, the benefits are significant and really far-reaching. The research lists several key ones. Self-improvement builds confidence, which, impacts pretty much every area of your life. It increases productivity, allowing you to accomplish more with greater focus and less wasted effort. It reduces stress by helping you manage challenges better and maintain perspective when things get tough. It improves decision-making by fostering clarity and critical thinking.
Which is huge.
Absolutely. It leads to better relationships through that enhanced social and emotional intelligence we talked about. And ultimately, all of this contributes to greater overall success and happiness, not as some final destination, perhaps, but as a continuous state of thriving.
That sounds fantastic. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But
Yeah.
let's be real, it's not always a smooth path, is it? What common obstacles do people typically face when they're trying to improve themselves? Ah, the twin demons of self-improvement. I think we've all been there, right? Promising ourselves we'll start that new habit tomorrow, which, according to one of the sources, is statistically the most dangerous word in a procrastinator's vocabulary.
That's a great way to put it. And yeah, this raises an important question. Why do so many of us struggle despite knowing the benefits? Common obstacles include that very laziness and procrastination you just mentioned, which can derail even the best intentions.
Mm-hmm.
A negative environment and bad company can easily pull you down. Your surroundings really do profoundly influence your habits, maybe more than we realize. Fear of failure often paralyzes people, preventing them from even starting or causing them to give up at the first stumble.
Yeah, that fear is powerful.
It really is. There's also the fundamental lack of discipline and consistency, which we just highlighted as a core principle for success. So the lack of it is a major obstacle. And finally, something very common today, comparison with others. Constantly looking at what others are doing can lead to feelings of inadequacy. It actively discourages your individual progress by shifting focus from your own journey to, someone else's curated highlight reel online.
It's so important to recognize those pitfalls, isn't it? So you can try and navigate around them. Now, beyond these practical methods and challenges, the material also seemed to lean on some foundational ideas and some pretty well-known works that have shaped the conversation around self-improvement.
Yes, exactly. The text you shared mentioned some really seminal works that perfectly illustrate these principles in action. For instance, Atomic Habits by James Clear. That book brilliantly unpacks the immense power of small, consistent habits and how they just accumulate over time to create remarkable change.
A very popular one.
Definitely. Then there's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, a true classic. It lays out principles for both personal and professional effectiveness and deeply connects to that holistic approach we discussed. And Deep Work by Cal Newport. It emphasizes focused, uninterrupted work for peak productivity, which directly addresses the discipline and intellectual growth aspects.
Right, those are all quite well known in the productivity and self-help space. Were there any others that stood out from the sources?
Absolutely. The Japanese concept of ikigai was mentioned. It explores finding your purpose in life, your reason for being, essentially. That strongly aligns with spiritual growth and achieving overall fulfillment.
Well, Ikigai.
And The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That guides you towards living fully in the present moment, letting go of past regrets and future anxieties. It's a powerful tool for mental and spiritual well-being.
So, okay, these are big ideas, big books. How do they actually connect to your daily life for the listener who's perhaps just trying to improve their work habits or maybe personal routines?
Well, these theories, whether it's the sort of micro-focus of Atomic Habits or the more macro-purpose exploration in Ikigai, they all provide practical blueprints. Blueprints for how to apply the principles and methods we've been discussing. They give you concrete strategies for building consistency, cultivating discipline, maintaining that learning attitude.
Okay, so they translate the ideas into action.
Exactly. For example, if you're struggling with procrastination, maybe Deep Work offers clear strategies to enhance focus. If you feel overwhelmed, perhaps The Power of Now can help you anchor yourself in the present moment. They take the abstract concepts and make them really actionable.
Blueprints for action. I like that phrasing. Okay, so for someone listening now who's feeling inspired, maybe ready to start, what's a clear, actionable roadmap based on what the sources suggest? How do you begin?
The material actually provides a very clear step-by-step path, which is helpful. First, identify your weaknesses. That's the self-awareness principle right there in action. Be honest with yourself. Second, set small, achievable goals. Remember the SMART criteria.
Yeah.
Don't try to change everything all at once. That's usually a recipe for failure.
Start small.
Exactly. The focus is on building one habit at a time. Focus on consistency rather than trying to do too much too soon. Fourth, track your progress. Use journals, checklists, whatever works for you. Seeing your progress, even small wins, is incredibly motivating. It provides that positive feedback loop.
See the wins.
Fifth, surround yourself with positive people. People who uplift you, support your goals, not those who drag you down. And finally, number 6, keep learning and upgrading yourself continuously. This isn't a one-and-done project. It's a constant evolution, a lifelong journey.
That roadmap is incredibly practical, thank you. And just to bring this to an even more practical level for many of you listening, how does self-improvement specifically help in demanding areas like, say, preparing for major exams or advancing in your career?
Oh, it's directly applicable and offers profound advantages in those areas. For exams, for instance, self-improvement helps enormously with discipline and time management. Those are absolutely crucial for creating and sticking to effective study schedules.
Absolutely.
It also significantly improves focus and concentration, allowing you to absorb complex material more effectively and efficiently. For careers, it builds confidence, which is vital in interviews, presentations, and just day-to-day interactions. It helps you become a more effective communicator and potentially a leader. And perhaps most importantly, in today's world, it encourages lifelong learning. This is absolutely essential for demanding careers, whether you're in civil services, law, tech, medicine, really any field that requires continuous adaptation and growth in a rapidly changing world.
So, in essence, what we've really learned from this deep dive is that self-improvement kind of boils down to a continuous cycle, doesn't it? Knowing yourself, setting clear, achievable goals, working at it daily with consistency, always embracing continuous learning, maintaining discipline, and critically, learning how to handle failures with resilience.
Exactly. It truly is a dynamic journey, not some static destination you arrive at.
Well, this deep dive has laid out such a robust framework, I think, for approaching self-improvement. Knowing these interconnected areas, these guiding principles, and all the practical methods we discussed that can truly be a powerful tool in your hands as you navigate your own path of growth. And as you reflect on everything we've discussed today, here's maybe a final thought for you to mull over. Consider which of those 5 interconnected areas of growth, physical, mental, intellectual, social, or spiritual, feels perhaps the most neglected in your own life right now. Maybe starting there, even with just one small, consistent habit, could be your very first step toward the deeper, more fulfilling self-improvement journey.
And we absolutely encourage you to continue your own deep dives into the topics that matter most to you, applying these kinds of insights to your own growth and learning. Until next time.